Under the leadership of that hardy woodsman, Daniel Boone, a large party set out for the new land, Kentucky.
Abraham Lincoln was born right here.
The world comes to be pretty like me.
I'm Colonel Harold Sanders, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Have I told you you people are crazy?
This is Old Kentucky Tales, the only podcast that solemnly swears that we have never been mentioned in the same breath as Caesar and Cromwell. Today's title is How to Attack an Heroic War Record. I am your host, Brent Taylor. To my left is the man who cooks up great history when he's not cooking food on his other show, Jason Donner.
Thank you so much. You mentioned my other little show. How do you know about my other little show, Brent?
It's legendary.
Tell the people about my show.
You cook things at the
stand
college.
There. Yes, while other people cook things, and then there's a chef there, and they have their idea, and it's like a cooking show.
And then you taste it.
It's right.
And you have to pretend to like it?
Sometimes we chop it, or we mix it. Yeah, Well, these people are doing the same thing. Andy's over there. He's always like trying to get my attention on the cooking show. They count you down. They'll give you one of these. And then I ignore that. And then 4. And then I ignore that. So, yeah, it's fun. I love doing this.
All right. And you always like the way it tastes?
We should cook on this show. Not have you on that show. That's too obvious.
Yeah.
Cook on this show.
Oh, and then you can have like a crossover appeal. I see exactly where this is going.
Yeah. Do it. And see, I was right. We just coincidentally wore the exact same clothes as the last episode.
You just don't have that many options in the wardrobe. Can't wear white.
As a teacher, I have to buy my own clothes. It's ridiculous.
Where is the whole wardrobe thing where it's provided by so and so? Yeah. We have to see about that in our next contract.
Where are you going with it? Should we? Okay, increase spending? Is that what you're? All right, enough. No, don't go there, Brent.
Our main event is Henry Clay's attack on General Jackson's war record. Along the way, don't forget to support the fake history sponsors who support Old Kentucky Tales. The products are real, only the sponsorship is fake.
Just made some fresh coffee.
Thanks.
It's decaffeinated.
No, thanks.
Honey, I don't want you to have all that caffeine, so I'd like to decaffeinate you.
Me, decaffeinated?
That's right.
Well, aren't you forgetting my flavor?
New High Point has the flavor to decaffeinate you. Look.
Flakes?
Those flakes mean real coffee flavor in your cup.
You know, I like it. This is great coffee. How'd they do that?
High Point starts with premium decaffeinated beans, and in a patented extra step, mills some of the coffee into flakes glistening with flavor. Flakes that mean hearty, robust flavor in your cup.
I'm decaffeinated.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
New High Point from Procter & Gamble, with the flavor to decaffeinate the ones you love.
Decaffeinate the ones you love.
How do they do that, by the way? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Take the caffeine right on out of there.
I actually started thinking about that.
What do they do?
I'm actually kind of afraid of the answer of that, if you want to be honest about it.
Are you like a caffeine nut? Are you on the Red Bull like every morning at gas station?
No, I don't really. I don't drink coffee and I don't drink that. I do like Diet Cokes.
Yeah, me too.
But I think their caffeine level is fairly low though compared to a coffee.
Right. I don't know.
So I don't.
If it's affecting me, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean it probably isn't. I've never really noticed.
Decade after decade, right? Are you drinking coffee? Drinking that coffee?
I don't like coffee. Yeah.
It tastes terrible, doesn't it?
I mean, to me,
people love it.
It's bitter.
Yeah,
I just don't care for it. So I don't know.
Is this a fake history sponsor, or are you just like using like old commercials now that are actual commercials?
That is an actual commercial there.
You just like the idea of decaffeinating people.
Yes,
probably do it. I mean, it's a stimulant, right?
How come the guy can't have the caffeine?
I don't know. Just have a cup of coffee for God's sake. It won't kill you. Well, it may kill you, but not in 1980.
No, certainly not. Certainly not in 1980. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. The main event.
Round one.
It's another
I
Henry
assume a
Clay
dawn or
episode.
Something happened.
Oh yeah, all that happens on every episode.
Oh, by the way, you know what? I don't know if they've changed it by now, but maybe. But they like picked two pictures that look like us when we were like in high school.
Oh, really?
For the main event? Yes. Right. It's true, Dan.
Perfect.
Like that picture, like it's weird. Like, that's me. And it was like 8-9 years ago. But yeah, have you looked at it?
Yes, I have looked at it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, no.
Well, they're looking at it now, I guess.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Don't split screen my face, by the way, with me. Don't you do it. Don't split screen me right here and now with my young face. Don't do it.
Oh, I see. You're begging for the shot.
I don't want him to do it.
Oh, okay. You.
I don't care. I don't care.
So
De-age me. That's what they could do.
Yeah, AI.
No,
that can be a thing.
I'm good. Explain AI to the population out there right now. Just explain it all, Brent.
It's fake computer stuff, and it magically does things, and transforms things, and writes things.
Like,
you never have to write or think again.
Just
It's
think
actually
Terminator
amazing.
for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on its way.
But let's go back to God knows when, Henry Clay.
Yeah.
Do you like Henry Clay? Because you seem to bring him up a lot on Old Kentucky Tales.
Henry Clay is interesting because he is
but he never made it to president.
Nope, never did. According to the historians' polls.
Looks bad.
So you know how they do presidential historians polls?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've. It's actually they send you a ballot, and you fill out the ballot as a history person.
Who sends it to who? You got one?
I got one.
From
I
who?
forget. There was a university doing one.
Well,
I forget which university it
The
was.
history professor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And so
actually know a lot about history. Remember that little. I'll bring this up too while you're at it. Got the green light? Okay, let's read it even better. Yeah, I saw a little article that you did with WKMS. I think you did this like 5 years ago. You said he actually knows a lot about history.
Oh, you?
Yeah, you were talking about me.
Well, that's a compliment because you come from a communications background, and so I mean, I wouldn't expect necessarily that you would know things at the level that you know them at.
I know a general basic knowledge. No,
but it's more than that. It's more than that. I mean, it's you're up there at official buff level.
I actually appreciate your compliment.
Yeah, well, that's good. And so we got ourselves another Henry Clay episode here, and this is 1828. So what's going on in the big picture is Henry Clay has already run for president once. At this point, he's already lost.
Yeah.
Jackson has already won and lost.
What? You mean he won?
No.
He ran and lost.
Yeah. He ran.
He lost a race for president before he won?
He did. And actually what happened there...
I thought he was like Mr. Popular, Mr. Tough Guy.
Well, he was. He won the popular vote. But the problem was there were 4 candidates. And with 4 candidates, all of them won electoral college votes. And so no candidate got the magic number that you had to have. Like today, it's got to be 270. If you don't have 270... Right. You're not the president. If you have 269, there's a controversy.
So they went back and made some deals, some compromises, right?
So there was a deal that got made, and that deal, Jackson always called it the corrupt bargain.
Oh, okay.
Because the way it worked was John Quincy Adams became president, and magically Henry Clay gets an awesome new job as Secretary of State.
Okay.
And so they teamed up together.
So he thought
Clay threw his support to Adams, and then so he becomes the president.
Yeah.
And Jackson always hated that.
Right.
Always hated Clay.
Took it out
thereafter. Oh yeah. So there was this
president for 8 years or something.
There's this thing later on where Jackson was asked if he had any regrets.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, I've got 2 regrets. I didn't shoot Henry Clay or hang John C. Calhoun."
Right.
Which was another one of the guys that he couldn't get along with.
Like in a jokey kind of way, probably.
I mean, that's a witty thing, but he also shot people for real.
I'll really do it.
So
it's not Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, with Jackson, I mean, there might be a serious enough streak there.
Beating people, knocking them out cold.
Yeah, duels.
Get mad, just walk across the table. They go, like, okay, I'm just going to hit you.
Yeah, Jackson had a bullet in him that they couldn't get out as president.
He claimed, anyway. It's a good thing to say. Oh, yeah, I got a bullet stuck in me. I can't even get it out.
It's a fun story, right? Yeah. How'd you get that bullet in you again?
Doesn't matter.
I shot this guy.
Yeah.
He was a real pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gave him one free shot at first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got a duel, by the way. We started this whole podcast by saying we've never been in a duel.
Yeah.
And you just assume that. You assumed it.
Yes.
But
yeah,
we need to act this out sometime. I'm talking powdered wigs, breeches.
I'm a little afraid that if we do that, people will take it seriously, and then I can't run for governor.
You're right. They'll take it seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
did you know how people are
running for governor? Really?
Well, right. You got to keep those doors open.
All of a sudden, I'm Secretary of State of Kentucky.
Bingo.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Another corrupt bargain for another day.
I think we could end it right here. I think the improv's been good.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We've teased it long enough.
How many times did Henry Clay actually run and lose for president?
So he ran in. We'll have to count them up. So he ran in 24. He ran in 32.
Yeah.
He ran in 44.
Oh, okay.
And he also ran again in 48, but didn't get the nomination. So that's at least 4 that I can think of.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
pretty good.
Yeah, he was the Susan Lucci of running for the White House. That's true. That's true. That's true.
Go ahead and let's hear from Clay if he's the one.
So what he's doing here was he went to Baltimore. He had been feeling kind of sickly. And he sought out some medical help in Baltimore.
That'll kill you back then.
Oh, you got to be careful. Now, the good doctors are really good. We talked about that. The bad ones are really bad. It's a jump ball in the 1800s for sure. So he went to see the doctor, but then he kind of got roped into going to this dinner thing. And so then at the dinner, they toasted the president, which was John Quincy Adams. Adams was not there that I know of.
Okay, but they were talking about.
But they did a toast to the president, and then they also toasted Clay in kind of a more subtle way.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's like, "Oh man, I hadn't been feeling good, but I'm gonna have to give up and get a speech now." So now he's been sort of roped into this impromptu speech situation.
Yeah. It's like, I really hate doing this, you guys.
Yeah.
I hate attention.
Well, that is true also of Clay. Mr. Clay then rose, evidently laboring under debility from indisposition, so that's being sick, right? Feeling a little under the weather, probably increased by the ceremonies of the day, so we've been drinking at the party.
Yeah, probably.
And said, although I have been required by the advice of my physicians to abstain from all social entertainments with their consequent excitements, I cannot leave Baltimore.
Right. I'm all excited.
Without saying a few words.
It's another
I'm not really supposed to do this.
Yeah.
You ever play fast and loose with the doctor's rules like that? Like, you're not really supposed to drive, but
you guys,
here's the
keys. So much
keys
to me that I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
Sure.
By way of public acknowledgement, for the cordial congratulations with which I have been received during my present visit. I am not so vain, indeed, as to imagine that any personal considerations have prompted the enthusiastic demonstrations by which my approach to this city and my short sojourn have been so highly distinguished. So a few nice words for the people of Baltimore, etc. Their honored object has, it is true, some claims upon the justice, if not the sympathy, of a generous, intelligent, and high-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
He says this to all
this is already like
locations, right?
You're right.
19th century oratory.
Right. Yeah, you got to really focus on it. Like, what did he say again?
Yeah, the Shakespeare comparison is good because when you get into the mindset, then it becomes easier to understand.
Oh, yeah, right.
But it's like a switch. You have to switch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that later. He's like,
Singled out for prescription and destruction, he has sustained all the fury of the most ferocious attacks. Calumnious charges directed against the honor of his public character, dearer than life itself, sanctioned and republished by one who should have scorned to lend himself to such a vile purpose, have been echoed by 1,000 profligate or deluded tongues and presses. So we got to stick up for the president and for himself here.
yeah.
Because it's 1828. That's an election year.
So he's talking about
John Quincy Adams. Right. We're sticking up for Adams, but then also himself at the same time as part of the administration.
Sure. Oh, this is when he was Secretary of State.
Yeah, I believe he had maybe recently resigned, but that was that
But
term.
still,
yes.
he was involved with the Adams.
Exactly, and simply through the whole corrupt bargain thing.
Right.
That's it. His diaries are pretty funny about that too. Like if you go into John Quincy Adams's diary, he'll say, "Oh, Representative Letcher from Kentucky showed up."
Oh.
Just out of the blue, you know? And there'll be little things like that you can follow along to get to the bottom of the bargain.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's if you're really bored one day, if you go poking around in that
So
thing.
what was Henry Clay like as a person anyway? Was he just like people didn't?
So
like
Clay,
him? Was he charismatic? As sometimes
very charismatic.
Okay, that helps.
According to one account, basically like women loved him, men wanted to be him. He wasn't good looking, but it was like the charisma part.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
He coined the phrase, "Hey, men want to be me. I'm Hank Clay."
Obviously, great speaker.
Yeah.
But also the knack to get things done in Congress.
Okay.
And so he's the great compromiser.
All right. So he just didn't win, but like he's still a pretty good politician.
Right. Ranked number one by the historians in terms of
the
legislature. Yeah. So legislative people who never became president, their whole careers in the legislature. Yeah. He was ranked number one.
Oh, okay. That's true, of course. Just circumstances may not work out that way. Or there are other people that just never ran, in fact, right?
Yeah.
They're on that
and then
list.
also if you're a compromiser,
yeah,
you're not trusted in the North. You're not trusted in the South.
Yeah.
To be fully with your people.
Yeah, to get all
And
those.
so that was always a little bit of a drag on his presidential ambitions, things like that.
Does he mention that in the speech? Why was I so compromising? Nobody likes me.
He probably should, yeah. What is a public man? What is any man worth who is not prepared to sacrifice himself if necessary for the good of his country?
Sure.
But, continued Mr. Clay, the demonstrations which I have here witnessed have a higher and nobler source than homage to an individual. So we're already kind of calling out Jackson and his supporters there. He's like, Jackson's this cult of personality.
Right. As long as he's not there, it's okay to call him out.
Gotta be careful. I mean, 1800s, you could end up in a firefight. They originate from that cause with which I am an humble associate, the cause of the country, the cause of the Constitution, the cause of free institutions. They would otherwise be unworthy of free men and less gratifying to me. I am not, I hope, so uncharitable as to accuse all the opponents of that cause with designs unfriendly to human liberty. I know that they make, many of them sincerely, other professions. They talk indeed of republicanism, small r republicanism, and some of them impudently claim to be the exclusive Republican Party. Yes, we find men who but yesterday were the foremost in other ranks, upon whose revolting ears the grating sound of republicanism ever fell, and upon whose lips the exotic word still awkwardly hangs, now exclaiming or acquiescing in the cry that they are the Republican Party.
All right. So put that in 2023 language.
2023 language is,
Yes, please.
we had a little time there where it looked like the parties were going away. There was essentially
There's so many
the demise of the Federalists.
Yeah.
And there was more or less one party there for about 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's actually what happened in the 1824 election. All the candidates were in this log jam because they didn't have the party system in the way that you know it.
Yeah.
And so everyone's claiming that they're the real defenders of liberty and they're the real defenders of republicanism. Right. And he says this just isn't true from his perspective. This is kind of where he's leading you, that some of these people are dangerous for democracy, republicanism, as he's calling it here. So that's kind of the setup to where we're going. I had thought if anyone more than any other principles characterized the term Republican Party, it was their ardent devotion to liberty, to its safety, to all its guarantees. I had supposed that the doctrines of that school taught us to guard against the danger of standing armies. And that's a founding father thing. Standing armies, threat to liberty. They all said it. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, no matter what the political stripe was. Standing armies, danger to liberty. Goes back to the English Bill of Rights even.
Yeah. It's scary when the king or the parliament, whoever's got an army just waiting there.
Yeah, and so the guys with guns
Caesar's
are out there marching around.
Right. Yeah, just put Caesar in total control, like if he knows he's got this army.
Caesar, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's also
one
of the...
in simplest terms, that it would be like, I would love for the army to go away now that, that we don't need a huge fighting force.
Right, and that's the American way of war back at that time.
Well,
you fight the war, you assemble the army,
ancient times.
You then disassemble the army.
Because it's literally just physical battling. It's different now. I don't know. I think that they perceived it as a threat in a way that we never would. Professional army.
Yeah, a legitimate threat to liberty.
But that's how people get overthrown.
Yeah.
Or okay, well, my army's going to take on the king's army. Maybe I'm the king next time. Anyway.
Yeah. So the standing army is exactly right.
Yeah.
The Republican Party. In this modern, newfangled, and heterogeneous party, Cromwell and Caesar have recently found apologists. The judgment of centuries is reversed. Long-established maxims are overturned, and the only genuine lovers of liberty were the Philips, the Caesars, the Cromwells, the Mariuses, and the Sullas of former ages. So all these are military dictators. Some of them from Greek history, some from English history, some from Roman history. 3 from Roman history, because the founding fathers and the subsequent generations loved Greeks and Romans.
Oh, yeah. This was the history.
That's their history, because we don't have a history yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And their philosophies would have been born out of that.
Yeah. It is time for slumbering patriotism to awake. When such doctrines as these are put forth from the Capitol and from popular trines as they, from popular assemblies, it is time that the real Republican Party, I speak not of former divisions springing up from causes no longer existing, that party, under whatever flag its members may heretofore acted, that party which loves freedom for freedom's sake, justly to estimate the impending perils and to proceed with an energy and union called for by the existing crisis in the Republic. So, throw out all these would-be dictators.
Right.
You've got to love America here and the American principles, Republican, small r principles.
Right. Why did this get recorded? Is this it sounded originally like he was just like at a dinner.
Yeah.
Kind of at the last minute. I mean, he wrote this thing. Someone kept track of it.
It's in a collection of his public addresses.
Yeah, he kept his own documents, of course.
Yeah.
So this is like
posterity.
It seems like
posterity.
Just sit down and just write this on the way there. Surely.
Maybe not quite that epic as we've seen in some other speeches, right?
It's kind of interesting to hear him say newfangled.
Yeah, you think of that as being more recent, don't you?
Kind of a more recent, old-fashioned term.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah, newfangled.
So if we go on down here a little bit, we want to get to the punchline, which is about Jackson.
Yes.
Right? Regardless of all imputations, and proud of the opportunity of free and unrestrained intercourse with all my fellow citizens, just relationships, right? Talking to and so forth. If it were physically possible and compatible with my official duties, I would visit every state, go to every town and hamlet, address every man in the Union, and entreat them by love of country, their love of liberty, for the sake of themselves and their posterity, in the name of their venerated ancestors, in the name of the human family, deeply interested in the fulfillment of the trust committed to their hands, by all the past glory which we have won, by all that awaits us as a nation, if we are true and faithful in gratitude to Him, God, who has hitherto so signally blessed us, to solemnly pause, and contemplate the precipice which yawns before us. If indeed we have incurred the divine displeasure, and it be necessary to chastise this people with the rod of His vengeance, we're going into oratory mode here.
Mm-hmm.
You see how he gets worked up?
Well, it's the end. You should get a little worked up.
I would humbly prostrate myself before Him and implore His mercy to visit our favored land with war, with pestilence, with famine, with any scourge other than military rule, or a blind and heedless enthusiasm for mere military renown.
So he's saying he'd rather have all that happen than the worst, which would be military rule.
Yeah. Or you just blindly follow this guy because he was a war hero.
Right. Talking about.
And that's how you attack a military record.
Yeah. So is this before he's ever elected?
Before Jackson is? Yeah, because that's the election where
next year,
he
right?
will become elected.
Yeah,
yes.
like a year before or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Got maybe a chip on his shoulder. He would have liked to have been the president for sure.
He would rather be right than president. You know, that's his catchphrase.
Okay. Yeah, but when you're the president, you have a lot of power to do the things you wish.
Yeah, that's just something that the loser of the race says.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but it's not. It can be a genuinely benevolent feeling to be president. You might want to be the president to do the right thing, not necessarily just serve yourself. Although it's easy to attach that to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a final takeaway.
We've revealed that you want to be the governor of Kentucky.
Possibly, right? So leave the door open. I don't want any sort of things where they said I was in a duel and then I'm therefore disqualified. So we keep the door open.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Well, if this is going to do it, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
This little podcast.
We have now turned to the final page.
Don't we have a commercial? Or is it
No, we don't have a commercial.
That's not a commercial?
No.
All right. Well, I should have left it with my
ratings. Good.
Ratings good.
Binge listening, good. Special thanks to WKMS, Dan, JT, and the TV crew, West Kentucky Community and Technical College.
I don't have my glasses.
And the rest is history.